Well, during high school, Paul just led an average life. You know, he ran track, cross country, was a very, very good student. His dad wanted him to have the normal experiences like we all did because it'll make him be a better priest, having the experience growing up just a regular guy. He probably would have liked to gone to seminary right after grade school, but again, the wisdom of his father said, just enjoy life. If you want to be a priest, it'll be there for you. And it was, and is to this day.
I look at him as one of the most selfless individuals that I know. Everything that he's done in his various assignments, you know, in the dioceses and down in El Salvador, I look at him as being truly a man for others because everything he does is for the people in his community.
His incredible commitment to the homeless, the poor, the Hispanic community in an inner city parish. He practiced for Salvador without ever really knowing that he would be from 4,000 people to 74,000 parishioners in Salvador, but an amazing pastor and good friend.
Our eyes were opened in terms of how bad things were in the 1980s. He told the story of Sister Dorothy Kazel, Jean Donovan, and the Maryknoll sisters. And it was just heart-wrenching, some of the stories that he would tell, catechists that he worked with who would disappear, people who were killed. It really brought home to us the reality that we're very, very protected here in the United States, and that in a place like El Salvador.
Just after he got there was when Oscar Romero was assassinated in March in the brutal civil war where the military and the government teamed up against the poor. And of course, Paul sided with his people. The following December 4th, two of his teammates were abducted, raped, and murdered. You know, Sister Dorothy and Jean Donovan. And he got the call, and he calls the Ambassador White and then a couple of authorities and said, meet me here tomorrow morning. And he took them out and dug them up. Bishop Hilla back here scared to death for the rest of his team, and Paul had to be the one to say, Bishop, no, we're not moving. No, don't even think about it. And so the mission continues today.
Really horrible things took place at that time. And he also really underscored the dedication of our mission team down in El Salvador to stay and to support the people even when their own lives were on the line. I think one of the things that really struck me about him is that he stayed. He stayed until the bishop asked him to come back home. And that took a lot of courage.
Here was a martyr willing to be killed for his faith because the National Guard at the time and, El Salvador government did not like the Catholic Church, and the townspeople knew what had happened, and Paul exhumed the bodies and was told, we're going to kill you if you try to dig them up. And Paul went ahead and dug them up. And fortunately, there was some media there that covered it, and so probably the guardsmen had enough sense not to shoot him in front of photographers and things. Just to be willing to give his life for his church and the people of El Salvador.
In Catholic grade school to Ignatius to the seminary, core values are embedded in you from family and your education, and it was a part of his life. He was just faith-filled. I don't know where he and has the strength, but it's his faith. Yeah.
Father Paul, I think probably the most important lesson he taught all of us, the people that I've taken down since 2011, and me repeatedly as I go down there, is how to best take care of people who are in disadvantaged situations. He is a firm advocate of paving the way for them to be able to better their lives themselves. He said, the best thing that you can do for the people of El Salvador is to help them get an education. Ways that promising young people could actually better their lives in El Salvador and remain in El Salvador to help their family, friends, and the people in their country.
Thank God for the people and the support of Ignatius and of course the Diocese of Cleveland to be able to allow us to touch so many people. You know, when you look at the small parishes in the States, they're willing to share with us that which we need to help continue to empower the people down here. So I think that's very, very important. And I think that all the principles that we learned when we were at Ignatius, I think we were able to put into practice down here in El Salvador.